I've just been dropped into a novel. Before me, my fiancée is putting on a tear-drenched performance, begging me to give her and her adopted brother my blessing for their love. And then the comments scroll across my vision, like a live stream feed, only I could see frowny face. This guy's life is a train wreck. The second he agrees, his fiancée and that manipulative leech of a brother will bleed him dry and ruin his family. Totally. The brother is a classic parasite, a grifter living off her. Too bad our boy here is such a hopeless romantic. He'll end up crippled in a car wreck trying to save her. What do you expect from a total simp? Let people make their own disastrous choices. Stop trying to be a hero. I look at Isabelle Finch's exquisitely beautiful face, and the fire in my gut just dies. My blessing? They want me to be the sucker who pays for their happily ever after? This engagement? I'm ending it. Right now. Without my protection. Let's see how long this tragic couple can survive in Seacrest City. 1. Leo. You know Julian's health has always been fragile. He can't live without me. Isabelle sat on the couch of my $80 million villa, her eyes red-rimmed, her voice choked with emotion, as if she were the most wronged person on earth. Beside her sat a pale, slender young man, Julian Finch, an orphan the Finches took in, nominally Isabelle's brother, but in reality, the true love of her life. Right now, Julian was giving me a look of pure apology and helplessness, his hand clutching the corner of Isabelle's shirt as if he was terrified I, the big bad villain, was about to eat his sister alive. Leo, man, it's all my fault. I'm useless, just a burden to my sister. Julian coughed twice, his voice weak. Don't blame Izzy. She's just so worried about me. If I'm causing problems between you two, I'll leave. I'll just go. Even if I die on the streets, I won't come back and bother you again. With that, he made a show of getting up, but swayed weakly and collapsed right into Isabelle's arms. Julian, don't say such horrible things. Isabelle panicked, wrapping her arms around him before turning to glare at me, her eyes accusing, as if I were the executioner pushing her brother to his death. Leo Vance, look what you've done to him. All he wants is to live with us after we're married. This villa is huge. Can't you spare a single room for him? We grew up together. We're closer than real siblings. Why do you always have to be so petty, so intolerant of someone who's sick? I leaned back in my armchair, idly spinning a heavy gold signet ring on my finger, my face a blank mask as I watched this pair of star-crossed lovers perform for me. Memories were flooding my mind, merging with my own. The original owner of this body, Leo Vance, was the sole heir to Arthur Vance, the richest man in Seacrest City. He had the money. He had the looks, but he was the world's biggest simp. Ever since he was captivated by an accidental smile from Isabelle in high school, he'd embarked on a 7-year career as her personal doormat. If Isabelle wanted the moon, he would have built a ladder to get it. When Isabelle mentioned Julian liked music, he threw money at the problem, sending him to Juilliard for a year and buying him a $300,000 violin. And what did he get in return? Isabelle pushing the boundaries again and again, and Julian's endless stream of manipulative, backhanded comments. The text scrolling in front of my eyes only confirmed what I already knew. I can't even. Is this Isabelle for real, playing Leo for a complete fool? Moving her lover into her husband's house after the wedding? What kind of psycho move is that? And Leo, the colossal sucker, is actually going to agree? Not only agree, but put Julian in charge of company project, just for practice. He gets scammed out of his entire fortune. Dude, spoilers. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Leo is about to cave. He can't stand it when Isabelle cries. A simp like that deserves to get cheated on. No one's going to miss him when he's gone. Huh, deserves it. A cold smirk touched my lips. I brought my hand down hard, slamming the signet ring against the marble coffee table. Crack. The sharp sound echoed through the cavernous living room. Isabelle and Julian both jumped, their performance cut short. Are you done? I crossed my legs, lit a cigarette, and took a long drag. The smoke swirled around my face, obscuring my expression. Isabelle stared, clearly confused by my reaction. Normally, the second she started crying, he'd be scrambling to comfort her, promising her anything she wanted. Leo, what is this attitude? Isabelle frowned, a flash of disgust in her eyes. I'm trying to have a serious conversation with you, and you're throwing things? You think because you have some money you can just throw a tantrum whenever you want. Let me tell you something. A relationship is a partnership of equals. If you can't accept Julian, then this wedding is off, I said, flicking ash from my cigarette. I cut through her monologue, my voice as calm as if I were deciding what to have for dinner. The air in the room froze. Isabelle's eyes went wide with disbelief. Julian forgot to cough, frozen in her arms. What did you just say? Isabelle's voice shot up an octave, sharp and piercing. Leo, are you insane? Do you know what you're saying? You're calling off our wedding over something this small. Small? I let out a short, harsh laugh. I stood up, looming over her. Moving your side piece into my marital home. Using my money to support your boy toy. You call that small? Isabelle, I may love you, but I'm not into being cheated on. Since your sibling bond is so deep, so earth-shatteringly profound, then let me do you a favor. I pointed toward the front door, my voice dropping to ice. Now, take your precious brother and get the hell out of my house. 2. Isabelle's face turned a shade of crimson. She never imagined that Leo Vance, the man who was always at her beck and call, who followed her every command, would say something so humiliating. Side piece? Boy toy. Isabelle was trembling, pointing a finger at my face. Now, how can you say such disgusting things? Julian and I are innocent. We're family. How could you think so little of me? I am so disappointed in you. Julian's health is so poor. I'm the only family he has. What's wrong with me taking care of him? Do you want me to just watch him die? Julian, right on cue, felt his eyes well up as 2 perfect tears streamed down his cheeks. Leo, you've misunderstood. There's really nothing between my sister and me. I know you look down on me. You think I'm just a burden? If that's the case, I'll just go kill myself right now. Once I'm dead, no one will be around to make you unhappy anymore. With that, Julian struggled to his feet and made a show of lunging toward the corner of the coffee table. This threatened suicide gambit was a tried-and-true classic in the original story. The moment he tried it, Isabelle would have a meltdown, and the old Leo would soften and give in, not only apologizing but offering Julian even more to make up for it. Here we go. The classic playbook: cry, whine, and threaten to die. Leo's about to get on his knees and beg for forgiveness. I bet $5. If I were Leo, I'd hand him a knife and tell him to aim better. I watched Julian's pathetic acting, not even bothering to stop him. I calmly picked up my phone and dialed building security. Yeah, security? This is Leo Vance. I'm at 8 Summit Drive. I have trespassers in my home. They're causing a scene and threatening to harm themselves to frame me. Send a few guys over to escort them out. Hanging up, I looked at Julian with a smirk. Go on. Why'd you stop? The coffee table is solid Italian marble. It's hard enough. If you put some force into it, you'll definitely split your head open. Need a hand? I can hold your head down for you. Julian was frozen, caught between a rock and a hard place. He looked like a complete clown. Isabelle was even more shocked, rendered speechless. She stared at me, as if seeing me for the first time. Now, are you even human? Julian is about to kill himself, and you're making jokes? Where did your kindness and tolerance go? Did you lose them completely? Kindness? I sneered, taking a step closer to her. Isabelle, my kindness is for people, not for ungrateful parasites. Over the last few years, how much money have I spent on your brother's treatments? I don't say it, but I keep a running tab. His studies abroad, hundreds of thousands a year in tuition and living expenses, all on my supplementary card. This haute couture dress you're wearing? 12 grand. I bought it. That limited edition handbag you're holding? 30 grand. A gift from me. Even the damn rug you're standing on was flown in from Persia, and it cost me a fortune. With every sentence, Isabelle's face grew paler. You enjoy the lavish lifestyle I provide, while calling me tacky behind my back, and then you bring this bloodsucker here to disgust me. Did you really think I was running a charity? Just then, the sound of hurried footsteps came from outside. Several large, uniformed security guards burst in. Mr. Vance, the head of security, greeted me respectfully. I pointed at Isabelle and Julian, my voice laced with disgust. Please escort these 2 out. And from now on, this woman and this dog are not allowed to set foot on this property without my permission. The guards exchanged glances. They were shocked that Mr. Vance was kicking out his own fiancée, But since their paychecks came from the Vance Corporation, they knew who to listen to. "Ms. Finch, Mr. Finch, if you would," the captain said, gesturing firmly towards the door. Isabelle was shaking with rage. She had never been so humiliated in her entire life. "Leo Vance, you'll regret this. You think you're so great with your dirty money. I, Isabelle Finch, am not the kind of woman who sells her dignity for cash. Since you're being so heartless, this is the end for us. Julian, let's go. I wouldn't live in this tacky place if you begged me to." Isabelle grabbed Julian, straightened her back as if she were a noble martyr, and stormed out. Watching her proud retreat, I could only find it laughable. "Hold on," I called out. Isabelle stopped, a triumphant smirk appearing on her face as she turned around. "What?" "Having second thoughts. I knew you were just putting on an act. Leo, if you apologize to Julian right now and promise that from now on. Leave the car keys." I shattered her fantasy, holding out my hand. "That pink Ferrari you've been driving. I just bought it last month. The title is in my name. If we're making a clean break, let's make it completely clean. Don't drive my car around with your little lover boy. The thought of it disgusts me." 3. The look of triumph on Isabelle's face instantly hardened into one of disbelief and mortification. You're taking the car back." That Ferrari was her favorite accessory. It turned heads everywhere she went, and all her friends in her social circle were green with envy. She had long since considered it her own property. "What's the matter?" "I thought Miss Finch saw money as nothing more than dirt." "It's just an old car. Don't tell me you're attached to it." I raised an eyebrow, my sarcasm dialed up to 11. "Or is it that without my dirty money, Miss Finch can't even afford an Uber?" Isabelle's face cycled through shades of white and green. Clenching her jaw, she dug the keys out her purse and threw them violently onto the floor. "Take it. Who wants your stupid car anyway? Leo, I was so wrong about you. You're nothing but a petty, vindictive little man." With that, she grabbed Julian and, stumbling in her high heels, stormed out of the villa without a backward glance. Without the Ferrari, they were stranded. The Summit Estates was perched halfway up a mountain, a place where ride-sharing apps rarely found drivers. I walked over to the floor-to-ceiling window and watched their pathetic figures struggling down the sun-baked asphalt. Isabelle's heels seemed to be pinching her feet. She wobbled with every step. And Julian, the delicate invalid, was out of breath after just a few yards, forcing Isabelle to support him. Yes, so satisfying. Finally seeing these two scumbags get what they deserve. The protagonist. "Oh wait, Leo, you're killing it. This is exactly how you handled it." But knowing Isabelle's personality, she probably thinks this is just Leo playing hard to get. She'll expect him to come crawling back in a few days. That person gets it. In the book, that's exactly what she thought, which is why she became even more brazen. I saw the comments and let out a cold laugh. Playing hard to get. I was about to show her the meaning of scorched earth. I took out my phone and called my private banker. "Mr. Wallace? Leo Vance. I need you to cancel all supplementary cards issued under my name. That's right, effective immediately. Decline all charges on any account linked to me." After hanging up at the bank, I called my company's CFO. "Mark, what's the status of the collaboration with the Finch Group? We just signed the letter of intent." "Perfect. Put the project on hold. I want a full reassessment of the Finch Group's qualifications and risk profile. The reason is I don't like the look of Harrison Finch. Also, leak a rumor. Say that the relationship between the Vance Corporation and the Finch family has completely broken down. From now on, anyone who does business with them is making an enemy of me, Leo Vance." After arranging all that, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. To please Isabelle, the old Leo had not only given her a black card with no limit, but had also funneled countless business opportunities to her family. The Finch Group was a joke of a company, basically insolvent and kept alive only by the project from the Vance Corporation. Now, I was personally pulling the plug. With my work done, I realized I was hungry. A glance at the clock showed it was 3 in the afternoon. Perfect time for a drink. "Kyle, where are you at?" I called my childhood friend, Kyle Harper. He was a notorious playboy in Seacrest City and had always hated how whipped I was, but after a few failed attempts to talk sense into me, he'd started to keep his distance. "Leo, my man, did hell freeze over? Shouldn't you be at a nail salon with your goddess right about now?" Kyle's sarcastic voice crackled over the phone, backed by the thump of electronic music and cheering crowds. Cut the crap. Eclipse, half an hour. Get the whole crew together. It's on me tonight. Whoa, did Isabelle give you a hall pass? We broke up. Holy SHD. For real or fake broke up? For real. Tonight, we're celebrating my return to the single life. You got it. I'm clearing out the main VIP section right now. Tonight, no one goes home sober. I'm even breaking out those bottles of Romani Connie I've been saving. 4. Eclipse was the most exclusive, high-priced playground in Seacrest City. When I walked into the largest VIP booth, Kyle and a few other heirs to fortunes were already there waiting. Seeing me walk in, they all had strange expressions, as if they still weren't sure if I was serious. Leo, bro, for real. You really split? Kyle asked, handing me a drink. You bet. I even took the car keys back, I said, downing the drink in one go. The burn of the whiskey ignited something wild inside me. Legend. Kyle slapped his thigh, his face flushed with excitement. Leo, you finally woke up. Man, I've been wanting to say this for years. Besides being pretty, what part of Isabelle Finch is good enough for you? Exactly. She acts all high and mighty, but she's spending your money while looking down on you. What a piece of work. And that Julian guy, he's so shady. You could just tell he's bad news. Seeing that I was serious, the guys started venting, one after another. They'd held their tongues before out of respect for me. Now, the floodgates were open. All right. I was blind before. My fault. I'll take 3 shots as punishment, I said with a grin, pouring myself 3 full glasses of whiskey and downing them consecutively. That's our Leo. Tonight is a celebration. Manager, send in the hottest girls you've got. Kyle roared, waving his arm magnanimously. A moment later, a line of stunning women in barely their dresses and killer heels walked in, filling the air with a cloud of expensive perfume. Leo, take your pick, Kyle said, wiggling his eyebrows at me. The old Leo, despite his wealth, had been saving himself for Isabelle and never touched women in places like this. But I wasn't the old Leo. I was a normal man, and a man who had just escaped a toxic-as-hell ex-fiancée. My gaze swept over the women. It landed on a girl in a black slip dress standing in the corner. Unlike the others, she wasn't wearing heavy makeup. Her eyes had a wild spark, and she was just sitting there, playing with her fingers, looking bored. Her! I pointed. The girl looked up, revealing a face that was clean of makeup, but absolutely striking. Interesting. Meanwhile, in a luxury boutique in Seacrest City's most expensive mall, Isabelle was admiring a new crocodile leather handbag in the mirror. The humiliation and anger from being thrown out of my house had created a desperate need for some retail therapy. I'll take it, Isabelle said to the sales associate, handing over the bag with a slight lift of her chin as she pulled out the familiar black supplementary card. Of course, Miss Finch. The associate was all smiles, swiping the card efficiently. Beep. I'm sorry, Ms. Finch, but the card was declined. It says insufficient funds, or perhaps it's been frozen. The associate's smile faltered slightly. That's impossible. That card has no limit. Isabelle frowned impatiently. Did you do it wrong? Try it again. The associate could only swipe it a second time. Beep. Transaction failed. Ms. Finch, it definitely appears to be frozen. Would you like to use a different card? The associate's eyes had changed, now holding a trace of suspicion and judgment. Isabelle's face burned. Frozen? How could it be frozen? This was Leo's card. Could it be? She suddenly remembered Leo's words. A clean break. No, impossible. How could he dare to actually cut her off? Wasn't he terrified of making her unhappy? Ms. Finch, the associate prompted. A few other wealthy women, browsing nearby, shot her amused glances. Isn't that Isabelle Finch? Can't even afford a handbag anymore. I heard her fiancé Leo Vance is rich, but maybe not that rich. That looks like she got dumped. The whispers reached Isabelle's ears like tiny needles. She gritted her teeth and pulled a debit card from her own wallet. It was her personal account, containing the few $1,000s she'd earned from occasional design gigs over the years. Maybe a few tens of thousands total. The bag cost $180,000. You know what? I don't want it anymore. Isabelle shoved her card back in her purse and fled the store under the associate's disdainful gaze. The moment she was out, her phone rang. It was Julian. Izzy. Cough, cough. My chest feels really tight, and I'm out of my medication. The hospital says they need a $50,000 deposit for admission, but my card was declined. Isabelle stood there, phone in hand, in the middle of the bustling mall, feeling the chill of winter for the first time. Leo, are you really going to be this cruel? The party in Eclipse's VIP section was in full swing. The girl in the black dress next to me was named Wilder. She was a new model, and her personality was definitely as fiery as her look suggested. She didn't push drinks or get handsy. She just sat there quietly, matching me glass for glass. Something wrong? You're not happy, Wilder suddenly said, looking at me. Is it that obvious? I raised an eyebrow. Your eyes aren't smiling, she said, swirling the liquor in her glass. All these guys have been kissing up to you, but you're actually annoyed by them, aren't you? I chuckled and reached out, tilting her chin up with my fingers. Careful, little girl. It's not good to be too smart. Just then, the door to the room was thrown open. A man in a white suit with slick-back hair strode in, flanked by 2 bodyguards. The music in the room died. Kyle's face changed when he saw the newcomer. He leaned in close to me. Leo, that's Rex Crawford, the attack dog of the Crawford family. Rex Crawford, the second son of another powerful Seacrest City family, one that had always seen the Van Sass as rivals. He and I had been at each other's throats since we were kids. Well, if it isn't our resident Romeo, Rex drawled, a cigarillo held between his fingers, his eyes darting mockingly between me and Wilder. Heard you got dumped by that Isabelle Finch? Drowning your sorrows, are we? What happened? Weren't you the one who swore you'd marry only her? Already moved on to models, have we? The atmosphere in the room turned to ice. Kyle shot to his feet. Crawford, watch your mouth. Leo's just out having a good time. What's it to you? Harper, this doesn't concern you, Rex sneered, glancing at him dismissively before walking over to me, looking down his nose at where I sat. Leo, I heard you pulled the plug on that Southside development project with the Finch Group? Perfect timing. I was thinking of picking it up. You don't mind if I take it off your hands, do you? I released Wilder's chin and slowly adjusted my cufflinks. You want my leftovers? I looked up, my gaze as calm as still water. Garbage collection is a noble business. Suits you. What did you just say? Rex's face darkened, and he slammed a hand on the table. Vance, don't push it. The Vance family isn't what it used to be. Without the Finch family's reputation backing you, you think you still have any standing in our circle? The Finch family's reputation? I started laughing as if I'd heard the funniest joke in the world. Rex, is your brain made of pudding? What reputation does the Finch family have? It's all propped up with my family's money. Since you like Isabelle so much and you're so eager to be the next guy in line, I'll give you the project. It's all yours. But just a friendly warning. I stood up and leaned in close to Rex's ear, my voice low enough for only him to hear. Be careful you don't catch anything. That brother of hers. He gets around. Rex's expression shifted, his eyes filled with suspicion and doubt. I patted him on the shoulder, grabbed my jacket, and said to Kyle, let's find another spot. The air in here stinks. As I walked out of the room, my phone buzzed. It was a text from Isabelle. Leo, are you done with this tantrum? Cutting off my cards, stopping Julian's medical care. Are you trying to kill us? I'm at Seacrest, General. Get over here and pay the bill. If you don't, I'll never forgive you for the rest of my life. I stared at the screen and typed back 2 words. No money. Then I blocked her number. 6. The next morning, I was woken up by the shrill ringing of my phone. The caller ID said, Arthur Vance. My old man. You little brat. What the hell did you do yesterday? The second I answered, my father's roar nearly blew out my eardrum. Harrison Finch was at the house first thing this morning, crying about how you're trying to ruin him and his daughter, saying you led Isabelle on and then threw her away. The story is all over town now that my son, Leo Vance, is a heartless bastard. I rubbed the sleep from my eyes and sat up. Dad, do you believe them? There was a pause on the other end. Of course I don't believe them. I know exactly what kind of kid you are. You were so obsessed with that girl you were about to sell me down the river. So what really happened? I quickly explained the events of the previous day, including Isabelle bringing Julian over and my decision to cancel the project and her credit cards. Bam! I heard the sound of a hand slamming on a desk. Good job. Arthur Vance roared with laughter, his voice filled with relief. I've hated that family for years, especially that Isabelle, always acting so high and mighty. But when it comes to spending money, she's the first in line. Call off the wedding. You absolutely have to. I support you 100% on this. However, my father's tone shifted. Harrison Finch is an old fox. He's spreading these rumors everywhere. It's going to affect the company's stock price. There's a charity gala tonight. All the big names in Seacrest City will be there. The Finches will definitely try to make a scene. Do you have a plan? Don't worry, Dad. I walked to the mirror, looking at the young, handsome, and fiercely determined man staring back at me. Tonight, I'm going to give them a very special gift. That evening, at the Peninsula Hotel in Seacrest City, the charity gala was a sea of glittering gowns and sharp tuxedos. The moment I entered the ballroom with Wilder on my arm, we became the center of attention. Wilder was wearing a backless, fire engine red evening gown, her lips painted to match. She radiated an aura of power and was devastatingly beautiful. As for me, I was in a custom-tailored navy blue suit, my hair slicked back, revealing sharp, focused eyes. This was a far cry from the meek little follower I used to be. Is that Leo Vance? He looks different. Who's the woman with him? She's gorgeous. I've never seen her before. I heard he and Isabelle Finch had a falling out. Looks like it's true. Whispers rippled through the crowd. I ignored them, leading Wilder straight toward the main table. Just then, a shrill voice cut through the air. Now, you heartless cheater. Isabelle Finch, wearing a wrinkled white dress, burst out from the crowd. Her eyes were swollen and red. Her hair was a mess, and she looked nothing like the goddess she used to be. Behind her was her father, Harrison Finch, his face a grim mask. How dare you bring this cheap tramp to an event like this? Are you trying to humiliate me? Isabelle shrieked, pointing at Wilder. Wilder just raised an eyebrow, tightening her grip on my arm as she gave Isabelle a provocative look. Who are you, lady? Did you forget to brush your teeth this morning? Who are you calling a lady? Isabelle looked like she was about to faint from rage. Now, is this your new toy? Some low-class trash you picked up off the street. Harrison Finch stepped forward, taking on the tone of an elder scolding a junior. Leo, I'm willing to chalk yesterday up to youthful impulsiveness. If you apologize to Isabelle right now and restart the project, I'll pretend none of this ever happened. Otherwise, I will expose your true colors to everyone in Seacrest City right here, right now. The crowd pressed in, eager for the drama. I let go of Wilder, calmly reached into my suit jacket, and pulled out a stack of photographs. I threw them hard, scattering them at the feet of Isabelle and Harrison Finch. Swoosh! The photos fluttered to the ground. Every single one was an intimate picture of Isabelle and Julian, hugging, kissing, and some from angles that left little to the imagination. There were also copies of Julian's overseas, spending records, and evidence of him paying for the company of other models. Expose me. I looked down at the pale, shocked faces of the father and daughter. Isabelle, is this your idea of a sibling bond? You take my money to support your lover, all while pretending to be a saint? I may be rich, Leo Vance, but I don't support animals. The entire ballroom erupted in gasps. Everyone stared in shock at the photos on the floor, then back at Isabelle, their eyes filled with disgust and contempt. Oh my God, that's sick. They're sleeping together. Isn't that her brother? I know he's adopted, but still. And she had the nerve to call Leo heartless. That woman has no shame. Isabelle trembled, trying to gather the photos, but there were too many. No, it's not what it looks like. She sobbed, completely breaking down. Harrison Finch was so furious he looked like he was about to have a heart attack, pointing a trembling finger at me. You. Security, I said calmly. Please remove these two eyesores from the premises. 7. The photo gate at the charity gala was a bombshell that detonated across Seacrest City's social circles. The next day, Finch Group stock price hit rock bottom. The beautiful love story of Isabelle and Julian became the biggest joke on the internet. The same people who had been trying to get close to the Finch family were now avoiding them like the plague. Banks started calling in their loans, suppliers showed up demanding payment, and a foreclosure notice was slapped on the Finch family villa. Isabelle and Julian were kicked out, left with nothing but the clothes on their backs. And that was when I received a visit from an old friend. Victoria Blackwood, the heiress to the Blackwood Corporation, known throughout Seacrest City as the Ice Queen and the biggest rival to the Vance Corporation. "Mr. Vance, you've certainly been making waves," Victoria said from across my desk, sipping a black coffee, a playful look in her eyes. She was dressed in a perfectly tailored power suit, her long legs and black stockings crossed elegantly, radiating a potent, mature charm. "Ms. Blackwood, to what do I owe the pleasure? Surely you didn't come all this way just to gloat." I leaned back in my leather executive chair, letting my eyes wander over her appreciatively. Victoria didn't get angry. Instead, a small smile played on her lips. "I came to talk about a partnership. With the Finch Group collapsing, the Southside project is dead in the water. I know the Vance Corporation has no interest in cleaning up that mess, but the Blackwood Corporation does." "Oh, that got my attention. And what kind of partnership did you have in mind?" "Our two companies joined forces to absorb the Finch Group's market share. We split the profits 50-50. Victoria set down her coffee cup and leaned forward, looking me directly in the eye. "And besides that, I'm very interested in the new Leo Vance. I used to think you were a brainless simp. Now, I see you're just hiding your claws. So, are you interested in playing a more exciting game with me?" Her voice was a low, husky temptation. I looked at this ambitious, powerful woman and felt the blood begin to hum in my veins. This was a worthy opponent, and a worthy prize. 50-50 is too low. I stood up, walked around the desk, and placed my hands on the arms of her chair, trapping her. "I want 60-40. And another thing." I leaned down, my lips close to her ear, and whispered, "My place tonight to discuss the finer details?" Victoria's eyes flickered, and a faint blush rose on her cheeks, but she quickly suppressed it. "You certainly are direct, Mr. Vance. But I like it." She reached up and strained my tie. "Deal." Life for Isabelle and Julian got harder and harder. Julian's poor health had always been an act, but in the cold, hungry reality they now faced, he actually got sick. Without a private hospital room and imported medicine, he lay in a rundown clinic with an 4-drip, spending his days cursing Isabelle for being useless. "You said Leo Vance couldn't live without you. You said he'd come running back if you just snapped your fingers. So where is he now? We're starving to death." Julian's face was twisted in a snarl as he threw a cup of instant noodles at her. "Go beg him. You're worthless." Isabelle, splattered with soup, her hair greasy, her face stained with tears and exhaustion, looked at the man who was once her gentle, refined brother and felt only fear and a sense of profound strangeness. This was the true love she had sacrificed Leo for? How did it come to this? "Julian, how can you say that to me? I lost everything for you." "For me? Or for your own vanity?" Julian sneered. "If you weren't so greedy for Leo's money but couldn't give up sleeping with me, you wouldn't be in this mess. Well, it's over now. Leo doesn't want you, and you're not going to be my problem anymore. I already talked to Reg Crawford. He said if I give you to him for a few days, he'll give me $1 million. "What?" Isabelle's eyes widened, a chill spreading through her body. "You're going to sell me? You're used goods anyway. What's wrong with a little recycling?" Julian grabbed a handful of her hair and started dragging her toward the door. "Let's go. Don't make me get rough. Help. Somebody help me." Isabelle struggled wildly, sinking her teeth into Julian's hand. He yelped in pain and let go. Isabelle seized the opportunity, bolting out of the clinic and into the pouring rain. She ran without knowing where she was going. Only one thought echoed in her mind. Leo. Only Leo would save her. In the past, no matter what trouble she got into, Leo was always the first one there to fix everything for her. She had to go to him. If she begged, if she admitted she was wrong, Leo would definitely forgive her. He loved her that much. 9. At that exact moment, I was in my villa on the summit, sharing a bottle of red wine with Victoria, watching the rain lash against the windows. Victoria stood before the vast glass wall, wearing only one of my white dress shirts, a wine glass in her hand, her eyes hazy and content. "You're a cruel man, Leo Vance," she murmured, looking out at the dark city below. "The Finch family is completely finished. Harrison tried to jump off a building. He didn't die, but he's in a vegetative state. And Isabelle, They say she's gone missing. Cruel. I came up behind her, wrapping my arms around her waist and resting my chin on her shoulder. If I hadn't woken up when I did, I'd be the one in the hospital, and the Vance family would be the one in ruins. Mercy to your enemies is cruelty to yourself. Victoria turned in my arms, her hands circling my neck as she pulled me into a kiss. That's the part of you I like the most. Just then, a frantic banging started at the front door. Leo, open the door. I know you're in there. Please, you have to help me. It was Isabelle's voice, shrill and desperate in the stormy night. Victoria paused, raising an eyebrow at me. Your ex-fiancée has arrived. Aren't you going to see her? I frowned, a wave of irritation washing over me. Ignore her. Oh, don't be like that. Victoria pushed away from me and walked to the window, peering down. TSK. What a mess. Soaked to the bone, like a drowned rat. Let her in. I'd love to see what Seacrest City's former princess looks like now. Seeing the genuine curiosity in Victoria's eyes, I sighed and pressed the button to open the main gate. A moment later, Isabelle stumbled into the living room. She was covered in mud, barefoot, her face a mess of rain and tears. She was a complete wreck. When she saw Victoria, dressed in my shirt and nestled in my arms, she froze. Victoria. Isabelle's world seemed to tilt on its axis. As rivals, she knew Victoria Blackwood well. She never dreamed she would find her here, wearing Leo's clothes. Well, hello, Isabelle. Long time no see, Victoria said, swirling her wine, a sweet smile on her face. My, what happened to you? For a second, I thought a beggar had wandered in. Isabelle bit her lip so hard it nearly bled, the shame making her wish the floor would swallow her whole. But the instinct to survive took over, and she dropped to her knees with a thud. Leo, I was wrong. She crawled toward me, trying to grab my pants leg, but I stepped back in disgust. I was so wrong. Julian is a monster. He tried to sell me to Rex Crawford. It was all his fault. He manipulated me. He tricked me. I see it now. You were the only one who ever truly cared about me. Leo, please, just give me one more chance, please. I'll be good, I swear. I'll be the perfect wife. I'll take care of you for the rest of my life. Anything Victoria can do, I can do. I'm younger than her. I'm prettier. Isabelle babbled incoherently, even starting to pull at her own clothes, trying to display the one asset she thought she had left. I watched the pathetic display, feeling nothing but revulsion. Isabelle, do you have any idea how pathetic you look right now? I crouched down, hooking a finger under her chin to force her to look at me. Who do you think you are? Someone I could just pick up and throw away at will. I used to treat you like treasure, and you treated me like trash. Now that you're a piece of garbage, you expect me to put you back on a pedestal. Keep dreaming, and don't you ever compare yourself to Victoria. I glanced at the woman beside me and smiled. She is a partner in the Vance Corporation. She is my woman, and you are nothing but a pair of worn-out shoes that someone else has already thrown away. Julian tried to sell you? Then call the police. Why are you here? I, Leo Vance, am not a recycling center, and I am certainly not your savior. 10. Isabelle collapsed onto the floor in a heap of despair. My words had shattered the last remnants of her dignity. Now, you're so heartless. She mumbled, her eyes vacant. Get out, I said, standing up, not sparing her another glance. Get out before I call the cops. Like a zombie, Isabelle staggered to her feet and shuffled toward the door. Right at the threshold, she turned back, her eyes burning with a venomous hatred. Leo Vance, you'll pay for this. You'll get what you deserve. Pay for it. I laughed. If there's any justice in this world, it's already been served to you too. Isabelle vanished into the rainy night. Later, I heard that Julian really did sell her to Rex Crawford. Rex was a known sadist, with an endless repertoire of cruel games he liked to play with women. Isabelle endured unspeakable torture at his hands until her mind finally snapped, and she was committed to a psychiatric hospital. As for Julian, he took the money and tried to skip town, but was intercepted by loan sharks he owed money to. When he couldn't pay, they broke both his arms and legs and dumped him in a homeless encampment. The once proud and melancholy prince now spends his days under a freeway overpass, begging for change with his mangled hands. Whenever someone passes by, he makes incoherent, guttural sounds like a dog with a broken back. 11. 1 year later, at the gala celebrating the merger of the Vance and Blackwood corporations. As the new chairman, I stood on stage, confidently delivering a speech. In the audience, Victoria watched me, her hand resting on her gently swelling belly, her face radiant with happiness. Yes, we were getting married. In the past year, we had joined forces to swallow the remains of the Finch and Crawford empires, becoming the undisputed titans of Seacrest City. I had shed this simp label for good, becoming a revered and feared emperor of industry. After the speech, I walked over to Victoria and gently stroked her stomach. Tired? Not all. Victoria shook her head, smiling. Kyle mentioned earlier he saw a beggar under the overpass who looked a bit like Julian. Is that so? I took a sip of champagne, my voice indifferent. What does that have to do with me? You're right. Victoria linked her arm with mine, resting her head on my shoulder. All that matters now is looking forward. I looked up at the brilliant crystal chandelier hanging from the ballroom ceiling. For a fleeting moment, I could almost see the text scrolling in my vision again. Congratulations, host. Destiny has been successfully rewritten. End of book. A faint, knowing smile touched my lips. To hell with the script. To hell with being a doormat. This is my life, and I write the ending.